Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another PCM test and repair. This time coming from Texas. Ron, this is your computer. It's a 2007 Cummins. It's a Dodge Ram truck with a Cummins engine, and the computer is for a 5.9 liter diesel 2007. So his concerns are shorted injector drivers. So let's see if we can reproduce that here. So as usual, have the computer already ready connected. So this is so you can see in him, his computer in the bench. The part number on the computer is CM849B. This is a CAN bus communication, so it's going to be fast and easy to connect to it. All right, so let me take you over to his folder, which I have gathered a lot of information in here. Let me see this for here. Give me 1 second. Oh, almost erasing somebody else's information. All right, so let me move you over to the display. So I have computer pinouts, and I'm not going to show you that because I made an image. Well, actually, you know what? Let me think on that because that has a lot of information that I don't want to share for other companies. So let's just this computer has two connectors. C1, as you can see here, is a 60-pin connector, and this is the connector view, not the computer view. We have CAN bus and pins 4 and 5. This computer has also on these same connectors on pin 40, 30, 40, 50, and then 36, 46, and 56 the injectors. So we're going to see that here. So if we go over to 30, let me get a box so we can, or you can see where I am because PDF it disappears. So we can see here pin 30 on connector 1 with the 60 pin is injector 1. We go over to 40 is injector number 3, and 50 injector number 2. Now 36 injector 4, 46 injector 6, and if we go down to 56 injector number 5. The control side, the high side for bank 2 is in pin 57, which I'm actually connected to. And then also we have an injector high side driver for bank 1 and pin 59. Let me just make sure I am connected to that one, 57. So yeah, 57, I am connected. I'm also supplying crankshaft position sensor in the same connector in pin 22. And then the cam in pin 24. So we got the cam signal and pin 24 and the the crankshaft position sensor signal and pin 22. If we go over to the connector 2, those are where all the powers and grounds are. And I'm using also fiber reference and sensor ground in here. So let me just again get another of those boxes so you can see where I am. I know this computer is by memory. So we got, for my testing here, I use just one power and one ground in the ignition. So we have grounds in pin 49 and 50. They're shared, so I use only one. The same thing goes for the power. So 40, if we go to 30 and then 20, let me just get you there. We can see all those says fuse battery positive. For my testing here, I'm only connecting one of those because they're shared internally, and so all the grounds as well. As far as fiber reference, we got fiber reference in pin 33, and also we have in 23. I'm actually using the one in pin 23 is a fiber reference, and pin 24 a sensor ground. Those are connected to my meters, and I'm going to put that on the screen so we can see when the computer is on and off, and if we have sensor ground and sensor voltage, which is very important for the computer to be alive and also for everything to work internally, right? So it's very important to check that. All right, so I think that quickly is everything that we need. I also have the color wire diagrams, and I have mapped out pretty much everything that I just described to you. Color diagrams are correct on this computer, so if you have identifix or old data, you can use those diagrams. So far, I have checked all the signals and everything matched out exactly as in the originals, and I have checked that on the computer, so you will be okay with that. Let me see what else I have as far as, this is just the communication. Again, this is a CAN bus computer, so we will have the computer here. Well, let me move that perfect right here. This is a diesel, so we have a 5.9 diesel because there's also a powertrain module that is not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the engine computer. So if it's a 5.9, we will have, again, CAN bus high and pin 4. Oh, my wife just got here, so give me 1 second. Well, they quiet up. And CAN low and pin 5 on connector 1, which I tell you already. So this will go, and it's called CAN C bus. This will go over to the TIPM, the totally integrated module. And I had to stop because they were just being too loud. All right, so what I was saying, they come over to from the computer and all other modules that are connected to the CAN C, because we got CAN C and also CAN B, right? So it's a high speed communication, but they have separated, and then they all get together inside the totally integrated module. That's the gateway for this vehicle. And then through that, it goes over to the DLC, again, the OBD port that you connect the scanners, right? On pin 6 and pin 14. That's a CAN bus. And that's exactly how I have it connected here. See what else is in here. This is just so we can see what that fault code that he refers to, and I'm going to show you his communication with me, is P2194. Sorry, P2194. It stands for bank 2, cylinders 4, 6, and it should be cylinders 4, 5, and 6. Shorted, high, or low, because the computer doesn't know that. It just doesn't like the signal, doesn't know what is missing. So going over to the folder one more time, I have his conversation here, which I removed most of the information, or his personal information. So again, Ron from Quinlan, Texas. Also, you sent me the bean. But I couldn't find it. It was an error, but comparing it to other beans that I have here from the same year, it's a 3D 7K, not a 5 SNS. So it's 7KS. So his last digits on the bean will be G706035. And as you can see here, his concerns, P2149, he put a 0 in there that doesn't exist. Only concern is bank 2 injectors ground side circuit. She also refers to that at the bottom, which I'm actually covering a little bit. I neglected to enclose the PCM failure code, well, for cylinder 4, 5, and 6. There is a long history of electrical problems with this vehicle. If known, the history will be of value, maybe understanding why the P2149 code was set. I will be glad to relay this history to you. I don't really need the whole history, as long as I know what I'm looking for, right? Okay, let's go back to now the test. Let me get you guys in the screen so I know where you guys are. All right, so I want you to see something before we connect to the computer. Is this. So I'm connected all the signals with my simulator over to the computer, and injector number 6 is shorted. So immediately without opening the computer, I can see that we have a shorted injector. Look at all the rest of the signals are not on. And if I put the picoscope here, which I have it connected, I'm going to put, the meter and the Phoenix Max, which is going to be the scanner that we're going to use for this. On channel 8, I am connected to injector number 1. So you see I removed it and now the values are gone. So look at the medium maximum. So I have channel A on the top, channel B on the second injector, which is in this case for injector 6, so we can see the difference. And then the C channel on the oscilloscope is going to be for the power feed to see what we see when the computer is running. But immediately with not even the computer on, but my simulator is providing power to those drivers. And let's say the circuit as far as powers and grounds is closed. So it's a closed circuit because it's connected, even though the computer is not powered on. So the ground circuit on that driver on injector 6 is partially shorted. And why am I saying partially shorted? Because look at the values of the maximum. Channel A with no activation from the computer, right, is showing 12.4 volts, which is what my simulator is providing. That would be like the same thing on the vehicle, right? So the computer, even though it's not on, you will have, let's say, if you put power on those injectors or provide power to those injectors, it will just go through the injectors on its way to look for a ground, and nothing will happen because they're not being commanded on. which is exactly what we see here on channel A. But on channel B, on injector number 6, which I'm going to remove, you see right now, look at the value on channel B, it went over to 5 millivolts. If I plug it in and I start to read the 12 volts as in channel A, is reading 10.2. So that driver is partially grounded. And why it's partially grounded? The computer is not commanded on. So that means that driver is definitely damaged. And this is your problem. I can immediately, just by this, I can see that this is an issue. All right, so let me first, I'm going to connect to the computer. So I turn my other simulator so we don't get injector activation by any means. Because you can see how right now on channel C, which is the voltage, we're seeing some activation, even though it's not running. But let's see. Let's connect to the vehicle. Because I want to connect to the computer. Well, to the computer, we can see the fiber reference and sensor ground is perfect. And now we got the being there, G706035. So that is perfect. So we're going to go into quick access. Just going to click on all the rest of the pop-ups in there we connect to the vehicle. But we're in this case, this is a CAN bus computer. So we do have plenty of communication and everything. It says 2007 Ddge Ram 5 liters, 6-cylinder turbo diesel, and that is all correct. All right, so we're going to click on OK. And in here, we're going to, even though it's not really a PCM, we're going to clock in the PCM or click on the PCM. We're going to enter in there. I just want to go into, well, let's read the fault codes and see what we have as far as injectors, if we have anything here. Yeah, no, we have no fault codes for the injectors. At least not yet. I want to go over to the data stream to see if we can see the crankshaft or the RPMs. A lot of pits in this one. Engine speed for camshaft. Engine speed from crankshaft. That's pretty much all I really want to see. ECM module voltage. We can put those in there. So we have no RPMs, which I'm not providing any RPMs. So let me, before even I turn that side on, I'm going to provide the RPMs to see what we see here. Okay, we are reading 60 RPMs in both. That's very good. So they're matching. I'm going to go over to like 700 RPMs. And I'm doing this before running the other section, which is injectors, because this knob, if I can call that knob, because it's actually a touch screen on this simulator, it's a little hard to adjust softly. It's like in very weird increments. So I'm going to go over to, like, you see, I went over just one touch. It goes from 560 to 697. All right, so let's turn the injectors on in here. All right, now we have injection, but look at the injector number 2. Low pulse width. Well, actually, it is kind of firing, partially firing, but let me see what I see. I want to go over to there because I got so many measurements. I just want to bring the channels or separate the channels. We can definitely see an issue. I'm going to stop that capture. Let me stop the power here. And probably, you know what? I want to get more. Well, actually, I don't really care about the power. As long as I have the power, remember, the C channel is just the feed in there, and the feed is working fine. So I'm going to remove that view so we get more space for the 2 channels that we want to analyze. But we can immediately see a problem in here. Hopefully you guys can pick that up. So I'm going to bring the measurements away from the view so we can separate these 2 channels a little more. But these 2 signatures should be looking the same way, right? So, and they're not. I mean, I hope that you guys can see that very, very easily. This is how you analyze data. All right, so we can see that the blue channel, again, the injector number 1, is being commanded on and is releasing as a computer is commanded it, and it looks normal. But injector number 6 on the red channel, on the other hand, is a completely weird view. And the reason the min and max are kind of matching, right? Because if we read the values on those measurements, they are almost identical, right? Except for like the millivolts on the minimum. The pulse width is very close, 1.5 and 1.3. You will say, well, Mike, that is, well, yeah, this is the problem when you just use a multimeter. And that's what I put the measurements to, because sometimes measurements are good to have, but also the analysis of a waveform is very important. Because yes, the way the scanner is probably not the scanner, the oscilloscope reading is calculating that the pulse width is adding all these three, and it might match because of the space. So it's very hard for the tool to calculate that unless I put cursors and measure specifically each of those. We will find out that definitely they're not the same, but the image is definitely tells us that they're completely different, right? So look at the activation that we have here on the blue channel on the bottom compared to the first activation. It's like the first activation on the red channel, it's like a microsecond. This one is like, and I can measure if I put cursors, like from here to this, just to measure that is 3.2 milliseconds. So again, that low pulse width, because it's being pulsed a couple of times, is tricking the measurement that I put in there. But we have 3.2 or 3 milliseconds. If we go over to here, on the other hand, on this red channel, and I'm going to do a zoom so we can see that better, or I can be more accurate putting my cursors. We got 215 microseconds. So definitely that's not working. And we can see the problem, again, when they're not on. If I turn my computer off, we can see that driver is bad. So definitely, this is immediately reproducing your concern run. And this is showing you guys how I do my tests in here. So we can definitely see that issue. So let's see if the computer now set up a fault. I'm going to turn the RPN off. And let's go back to fault codes to see if we set up a fault. Because sometimes, again, by not being on the vehicle, we're not going to, we have injector 1 open, injector 2 open, injector 3 open, injector 4 open, injectors, so all injector opens. And this is where, not having the original injectors, let's see if we have any other, you see this is where not having the original injectors in here, it will be very hard to get that full code that you are getting in the vehicle, because these injectors, I don't know if you have seen, if you don't have a truck like this, let me show you how those injectors look, because I have a picture of that. So let me just get it 1 second for you guys. They're very robust, and the computer is in complete control of the power and ground, as you saw on the diagrams, for those injectors. Right, let me get all this the stuff out of the way. So we got the Phoenix, we got that, and the meter. We don't need now that. And let me move you over to the display. So that's the back end of the injector. And this is the body of completely of that injector. So this is exactly the injectors on this vehicle. So you can see it's very robust injector. So, and the reason I don't have those in here is because just to get a set of injectors for this vehicle for me with no core and nothing, it's going to cost me almost $3,000. I don't usually do that. If I have a problem with injectors that it needs to be checked, I will request the customer to send it over, or otherwise I keep doing my tests like this, which it has not failed me once ever on this setup. And the reason I say that is because there are some computers that are very, like the moderns, they measure resistance and all the stuff. You need to have the correct injector in order to test a specific fault code. But for these ones, I don't. I have repaired, hundreds of these units, and I have never had an issue doing the test the way I do it, and it never fails me. So this is enough to reproduce your concern run. So I'm now going to open the computer, and I can show you how the computer also looks inside. So if you have not seen it, that is the computer, and these drivers in here, right in the middle, right where I'm moving that arrow. Hopefully you can see this, not so big, but these in the middle of the board, those are the injector drivers. And obviously I don't replace just injector drivers. I replace the pre-drivers, and I replace capacitors and diodes, because I gave a 1-year warranty. And this is where I separate my business to, you know, companies that just charge you a portion and they just go and replace one component, and they charge almost what I do, but I don't. I do the whole repair. I always, the first thing that I do when I'm working in a computer is make sure that I can repair it without spending all the time repairing the entire board. And then I retest it. If that works well, I know that can be repaired, then I do my full refresh, what I call full refresh or refurbish a computer, which is diodes, capacitors, and then applying, you know, the conformal coating to protect against moisture, etc. Then I can give you a 1-year warranty, and then you're happy. And I have only 5-star reviews because of the same reason. Through my years of working as Mike Salazar Diagnostics and all this electronic, I have only one unhappy customer. And it was actually very unfair review from him, because all I did was a test. I never charged him for a repair. And I told him, and I actually put my responses to his bad review on my website, or sorry, on Google, because he said, you make me lose a lot of money. You told me the computer was good. I never told you the computer was good. That's what I told him. Is like I said, I cannot reproduce your concerns in here. And this is sometimes limitation. That was an Audi that has 47 computers. So try to reproduce 47 computers to narrow down a problem. They ripped a harness and destroyed the harness through the car. I don't know, like 7 hours helping him to get wiring and testing and everything. And I only charged for my test fee $200. And it's still like that. He was blackmailing me. It's like, if you want me to remove my review, give me the $200 back. I'm like, wow, so unfair. I mean, I help you all this time, and I try to do my best to help you. And it's still you're trying to blackmail me. No, just leave your review in there. People will take that as a good way of seeing if I did good or if I did bad, because having a bad review is not really a problem, as long as all or the majority of my reviews are good. And I'm going to tell you that it's 99.99% of my reviews are 5 stars, because I go extra mile for my customers. Videos, wiring diagrams, experience, trying to help you as much as I can, proving that the actual component needs to be repaired. There is no other company in the world that does this, that take the time, because all they want is money. And yes, I know that I can repair this computer probably in a third of the time if I don't record a video and if I don't go into wire diagrams and explain you connections and everything, because yeah, it might not be necessary for me to make the money, but you know what? I want to help others and help my customers to be able to check the vehicles properly. If it is not for this time, maybe for the next times, they can revisit. So knowledge is being shared, and I always believe that that's very important. And help my customers is definitely my goal all the time. All right, guys, I think I'm going to make this part 1. Let me see how far we are. Yeah, we're already 23 minutes. And I think it's enough as a part 1 testing. I still need to contact the customer and make sure that he is okay with the repairs. And then if he approves, I will go into it, and then we will be having part 2. All right, guys, if you're here, please don't forget to subscribe. Every time you subscribe, YouTube promotes more and more of my videos, and that's how you find me as well. I'm going to put in the title of this video my website so you can copy and paste it. Also, I'm going to put, probably, if you need to call me, my telephone number is 703-505-5234. If you need to contact me, if you have questions or you need to send a computer or anything, I'm probably going to maybe add it in the beginning of the video so you guys can see that as well. Probably it's a good idea to add it on every video I start, but we'll see. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.